Welcome to another one of my multiplayer gameplay videos for Total Warhammer 2. Today I've got the Tomb Kings, led by the High Queen Khalida, and we'll be facing off against Bretonnia, who's led by King Leon Leonka. So so I started playing a little bit more multiplayer again. This is actually my second game against my opponent, whose name was Debrax. And the first game I was playing as Arkan, and he was the High Elves, and his Star Dragon just came down and just crushed Arkan at the start of the game and just ate him. It was really hard to recover, and so I lost that one. So I came back for revenge here with the Tomb Kings. So for army compositions, I've got a group of Carrion over here to tie down. I don't know if he's going to have any archers or artillery, or even just to block up some of his cavalry charges or something like that. So in the front line here, I've got a unit of Tomb Guard. Behind them some Ushabti, Tomb Guard with Halberd, sorry, and then I've got a regular unit of Tomb Guard here, some Skeleton Warriors, just a fill unit, and then on the opposite flank I've got some more Tomb Guard with Halberds with Ushabti behind them. I've got two units of Ushabti Greatbows, one of them is the Chosen of the Gods, and the other is the standard variant. And then I brought the Sphinx of Usep, who's the Regiment of Renown Necrosphinx, and you know, he's a really good choice, I feel like, because he's got anti-large, he's got magical attack, so he can really do well against the he's a hard counter to what they call ground knights. And he does have this 25% fire resist as well, which will be interesting because my opponent does have some peasant fire arrows. So what my opponent has is he's got a unit of ground knights operating on either flank. He's got some mounted yeomen to support them, just to harass my back lines, I'm guessing. Some Pegasus Knights on the flank there. So then, because he's got such some powerful units operating on the flanks there, he's got a cheaper front line. So he's got some Peasant Mob, 2 units of Men-at-Arms, shields behind them, some pole arms, and then a couple units of Foot Squires as well. And he does have the peasant arrows with fire arrows, which is interesting. I think they do bonus damage against some Tomb King's infantry, especially their lords. I think most lords have like a weakness to fire, but against the Necro Sphinx, they're going to do reduced damage because of that fire resistance. And he does have Leon Leonka. So what he's got is an interesting pick here. He's got double Grail Reliquary, and the reason for that, I think, is because when the match started, right, he probably knew I was going to have Great Bows because they're pretty much a must pick. I was looking for targets, and so I can't hit his Grail Knights or Pegasus Knights, they're too far away. I can't hit these ones because they're too far away, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can hit something in his front line. But if I take down one of these Grail Reliquaries, it's not really a big deal because he's got 2 of them. I think that's his reasoning behind it. Yeah, so that was interesting. So he's just going to be scouting me out here with his Mountain Yeoman, be feigning an attack, and yes, I'm just going to be positioning my Ushabti, trying to figure out a target. He's just speed things up a little bit. Well, I'm just going to be holding here. Yeah, while he's moving up, so I can't. So really well played here. He's getting his ground knights on either flanks, but they're just being just far enough away that my Ushabti can't hit them. So I'm going to be shooting in, and I'm going to be hitting the Foot Squires because of their unarmored unit. Typically, the Tomb Kings struggle against some armored units. I figured that was his most elite infantry. I'll be targeting them down. That's doing quite a number on them. And he's going to be opening up with his fire arrows. So on the flank here, he's going to be trying to send his ground knights in to try and hit, what's her name? High Queen Khalida, and he's send the Necrosphinx over here. He's like a hard counter to those ground knights. He's doing quite well. The infantry line is going to be engaging. I'm going to be moving them up now that the arrows are engaged. I think he's left Leon Leonka. He's just forgot about them in the back there, but it's okay. And his Pegasus Knights are flanking around the side. So I just got Queen Khalida trying to take down these Grail Knights. They should be doing quite well. Here come the Ushabti charging straight into those pole arms who aren't even braced, and the Tomb Guards should fare very well against the Peasant Mob and the Men-at-Arms. They should crush them. Even with that archer support, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. And my Great Bows now, I see he's got his ground knights at the back here, so I'm going to start shooting them, dropping like 7 or 8, maybe 6 models there. Well, it's really strong. Just going to keep shooting into them because they're definitely his most powerful target. So what he does over here is, now that he's drawn Khalida, really good tactic, now that he's drawn Khalida and the Necrosphinx away, he's done a bit of a wrapper and he's given me the slip, and he's gone in now and he's going straight for my Ushabti Greatbows, and these guys are going to charge in and do really well against these Ushabti Greatbows. So my Ushabti Greatbows are exposed. I've got nothing protecting my back line, so I've got no real choice here. I can't really beat them in melee. So my only choice is I'm going to charge them straight into the front line. So that way they're getting a little bit of cover here. And these ground lights, they're not even going to get into a rear charge into my flank there. It's going to be a little bit of a wraparound, which is going to be rough. But nothing too devastating, because my sharp to great posts aren't isolated anymore and they're well protected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pulling them straight through this front line and force pathing them into the back here. So I want to get them shooting again. Over here, the Necrosphinx is fighting these Pegasus Knights. He's being a really good bodyguard for Khalida, popping the Venom Wave here. So my front line's holding really strongly. Those Tomb Guards aren't pushovers. They should be able to do with the Bretonnian infantry quite well. And so now that I've got my Ushabti Great Bows in the back, I've forced them through. I'm going to be sending them straight after these archers who are going to like break almost instantly. It's nice to shut them down, and I've got the Ushabti doing something until I can get them into a good firing position. I need to get those carrion under control. I probably should have sent them against their archers, but that's okay. The Necrosphinx is just cleaving through these Pegasus Knights, like just absolutely just ruffle stomping them. But Khalida is starting to take quite a lot of damage, and it looks like King Luon Leonka is force passing his way through here to try and goon down Khalida again, because she is at half health right now. And it looks like, yeah, there we go, the curse is popping off now. So that's like a big AoE damage, like kind of like Fate of Buna or a Mortis Engine or something like that. So it's going to, again, surpass the physical resist that those ground lights have. So it's going to be doing heaps of damage. So I think he's pulling back because of that. Those units are broken, but some of his units are falling back just for that, because it's going to be doing a lot of damage to them, which is really powerful. I got my ground lights now that they chased off. Some of those arrows are going to be start shooting into this this big blob of infantry up here, and then my second realm of souls is going to get popped there. These Tomb Guards are holding really strongly against those guys, and I'm going to be shooting into their rear in a second. On the left flank, I've pushed them and completely cleaned them up. These Tomb Guard and these Ushabti might be overextending, so I've got to pull them back. And they are shooting into the rear there, so they should be doing a ton of damage. And Khalida is starting to get surrounded. He's got all of his high resources poured into taking down Khalida over here. And the Sphinx is going to be holding quite well, but he can't. It's going to be hard for him to protect Khalida with that many targets all surrounding him. He's definitely doing some heavy lifting. So these units are going to be coming back, and he's withdrawing his units over here to try and stop them. I've got these guys are still shooting and just doing a number on this back lines, but they are taking that archer fire, so I'm going to be wanting to retreat them and to get them out of that archer fire. It's not going to do much, but it is going to add up over time, so I definitely don't want that. Where's Khalida gone? Khalida has gotten very low, so I managed to slip her away and get her into my halberds here to protect her. The Sphinx of Usek still holding strong, still cleaving through those Pegasus Knights, and these chosen that use the Ushabti Great Bows are coming up into the forest so they can start shooting again. Sphinx of Usek doing a number on Luon Leonka. Very smart move, getting Luon Leonka the 44% magical resist, which that's a really good play against the Sphinx, but he is still going to be retreating him, and looks like he's going to be hunting my Lord. And seeing that, I'm going to have to try and fall back, but simply sending him after Luon Leonka. These Tomb Guard on the side here, up to 55 kills, holding off those pole arms, doing really well there. And then his Pegasus Knights have flown back, and they're pushing her straight into King Luon. And she's going to be in a bit of trouble here, surrounded by Pegasus Knights. Luon the Necrosphinx is there, but Khalida is really low. And I do have my Ushabti on the hill here. It says they're obstructed, but they seem to be shooting in every now and then. I'm not really sure what the deal with is with that one. So Khalida is really low. I think Luon's going to turn around and just take her out in a second here. But I do have Tomb Guard still holding, up to 96 kills on that one, and some more Tomb Guard on the hill over here, seem to be holding off fairly well. So I'm trying to get Khalida to do a wraparound, but I think he is much faster. Yeah, and he is going to take her down, which is rough. So the balance of power is definitely shifting in my opponent's favor after Khalida's gone down, and I'm going to send the Necrosphinx. I got to take Luon. I got to take King Luon out. So the Necrosphinx will be landing a beating down on him, but he's just got this. He's got a decent number of units left. Tomb Guard is still holding. They're starting to crumble now with the loss of their lord. So is the Necrosphinx. So we're in a bit of a precarious situation here. And so I did get my Ushabti summon. I'm going to put in the back lines just to shut down these archers and get rid of them, because they've been shooting in for a little bit too long. And so he's going to be laying down. So King Lowen is so low, and then a volley's going to come in from the Shabti on this hill and just take him out. So the balance of power is going to be shifting back into my favor. And all these units around here, yeah, it looks like they're starting to waver, and all these men-at-arms are going to break, and he might not have enough stopping power to be able to take down this healthy unit of a Shabti and my Necro Sphinx. All these units are breaking, and I'm just going to be hunting down his the rest of his units in the back lines with the summoned Shabti. So really well played to my opponent Dbrax. Investing a lot into going to the back lines and taking in my lords. It might have been better for his ground knights to be doing rear charges onto my my Tomb Guard and things like that, because they held for so long. These Tomb Guard survived until the end. So I'm definitely trying to work out the compositions for these guys, the Tomb Kings. I still haven't really worked it out. Oh, and I was trying to cast the magic missile on Khalida, but I could never get it off. I think she kept getting interrupted or something like that. The Sphinx of Usep, definitely a really great pick. So was the Tuashabti, and the Carrion would have been better if I'd saved them to go for the archers and be adding some more backline support there, but. Yeah, really interesting build. My opponent is frontline. I'm probably the 2 Grail Reliquaries was a little bit redundant, but I think I see what he was going for there. And the Fire Arrows are interesting inclusion as well. Maybe the Foot Squires, they got heavy AP, but I think the AP might be a little bit wasted because my Tomb Guard have it's like 50 armor as the max, and maybe Battle Pilgrims would have been a little bit stronger at taking down those Tomb Guard, but I'm not really sure. The Tomb Kings are still trying to work them out. Like, I understand the Empire and the Bretonnia and all that, but the Tomb Kings is like very new territory for me and for everyone. But that's definitely an interesting game. So well played to my opponent Dbrax, and thanks for watching.